Thank you. I'm going to bring on my other guests. We're now going to talk about values in the next generation. Thank you, gentlemen. And joining us for this discussion, we have some students who are joining us. I can't wait to hear from them. And she's beautiful. We have Bernd Hassan, Fred Eng, and Esar Gabriel and John Steele. Hello. How are you guys? You guys are ready to talk about values in the next generation? This is something, we've got 400 students here, and we need to talk about the future here. Let me give everybody's quick bio. Bernd Hassan is the head's UNICEF's regional office for Latin American and the Caribbean. We have Fred Eng, who is the founder and president of International Alliance for Youth, a nonprofit. Esar Gabriel, who's the general secretary of IAAF, which is a big... Fred, you work with so many students. How many students is your organization working with now?
Well, the organization is out of school sports, and relative to values, let me tell you a quick story. I was thinking when Bert was talking, I was doing an interview the other day on television. This may put it in perspective. There was an 8-year-old boy playing in a hockey game, and he missed a goal, and his father stood up and yelled, "Aaron, you bum, you can never do anything right." And I said to myself, how would you like to be an 8-year-old with your father and the coaches and the people in the stands hearing you are a bum? And that is what our organization has been about. In America, and out of school, we have 24 million children playing in what we affectionately call little leagues. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, it doesn't matter. They are coached by 2 million plus people who are parents. They are administered by over 100,000 leagues run by parents. Consequently, the question is, whoever trained and gave these parents values that they should have in working with children in sports? Nobody has. And so we see abuses, psychological, emotional, physical abuses of children in sports across America, and yet we sit back and do nothing about it. Actually, nothing about it. We try, but they're winning. And if we're going to change values for children in sports in America, then we need to begin putting pressure on people in communities who build and pay these facilities to be built to control what is happening in these programs. That's what our organization has been about. See?
Absolutely. And Fred, I know that there's also another issue that we actually talked about yesterday. When do you introduce sports to kids? Because there's a little different philosophy that's out there. Some people say you should introduce it as early as you can so it becomes a part of who they are and they carry it with them through the rest of their life. But you're of the mindset that too early can lead to burnout.
Oh, absolutely. I'll give you an example. We did a study at Northern Kentucky University of children 6 to 8 years old. We tested 1,000 children, and of those 1,000 children, testing them on the skills of throwing, catching, kicking, hitting, 49% didn't meet the minimum requirement to be successful in whatever sport they were playing. So what does that tell you about what we're dealing with? And I think it's wonderful that we have the ambassadors program, but we're dealing with the cream of the crop, and I applaud them. But our organization is concerned about children who don't have a chance to play. I've been to places in Africa, to Latin America, to across the world, where I've seen children who would love to be able to play. They have no equipment, no facilities, and that's what our organization is trying to do. One other important point, I think it's so interesting that I bet I have heard when we talk about life skills, all of the skills such as determination and perseverance and loyalty and respect. But if I throw out a couple other words of what children are learning in sports, you're going to have to agree with me. Children are learning win at all costs. They're learning to not even pay attention to officials. They're learning to cheat. We look across the street, there's a monument to cheating. We're dealing with individuals who coach children, who teach all these things to children. The result is that by the age of 13, many studies have been done, 70% of the kids that began as young as 3 years old will have dropped out of sports. And the reason they drop out is our fault. It's our fault that we're allowing them to drop out because the pressures that we put on them. So my plea to you as people in communities, we've been talking about 90% of the people who are successful people at this forum, Olympic athletes. We need to begin to look at the base of the pyramid where children need to be given that chance. Because if we're going to teach those valuable life skills, then we have to have a plan. The final thing I want to say is that we have a new program. It's called Let's Talk Sports. And it's engaging parents and children to discuss these very life skills. We can't assume that they're going to learn life skills and it's inherent in playing. It's like saying that you learn nutrition when you eat an apple, or that you learn healthy habits by brushing your teeth. We have to get children and parents to work together so that someday, the child comes home from a game and the parent says, not who won the game today. They come home and they say, what did you learn about teamwork today? What did you learn about discipline? What did you learn about perseverance? That's when sports will become valuable.
Sounds good to me.
But they can also enjoy, if I may say, having come home and saying we won. Huh?
Yeah,
it doesn't stop them from doing
There's
that.
a healthy balance
You can have
to
the
it
one
all.
and the other.
It's a healthy balance to it all. Let's give a round of applause for all of our guests, Bert Asan, Fred Eng, Essar Gabriel, and John Steele, and our two ambassadors who have a very bright future. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.